Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement podcast. I am Brad Winchester. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. And that's not all, folks. We're also joined by a very special guest, our guest of honor, our GI honoree. I don't know what the title would be for fill-in host, but it's Mike Steph. Tyler, how you doing? Mike, glad to have you today.
Yeah, Brad, I'm doing so great, man. And that is because Mike is back. You are back off of the 20-day IR.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy Mike is with us. We have a very special edition of GI here. We are introducing our Three Wisemen series. This, of course, is part one, in which we will be discussing early Paul Heyman. Each of us have three questions, or I should say we have three questions total for this episode. Each of us will ask one question as it relates to Paul Heyman in the AWA and WCW. Our honoree, our special guest, the GI Bro himself, the host of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, Mike Steph, will be kicking us off. He'll ask the first question, and we will go from there. All that being said, Mike, how are you, brother? And are you ready for this?
I'm doing great. You know, I'm trying to get over a Christmas cold, if to say the least. But besides that, I can't complain. I'm truly grateful for y'all to bring me onto your platform once again, especially for such a special occasion. And yeah, I'm rearing and ready to go.
Let's do it, man. Well, if Brad's all set, I think we are excited and hopefully prepared for your first question. Talk to us.
Okay, my first question, and this is going to be specifically WCW. You know, even though I came from the school of Paul E. Dangerly from the AWA days and the original Midnight Express, but my first question is this: how different would stunning Steve Austin's career be without the Paul Heyman influence from the Dangerous Alliance in WCW, giving him the outlet he needed in the ECW after he was let go from WCW in mid to late 95, to being a part of the WCW Alliance in WWF after the purchase of WCW, and giving Steve Austin another take on the Stone Cold character when he was part of the creative team in 2001. So, as I said, this is kind of a multifaceted question, but how you think Steve Austin's career trajectory would have been different if not for Paul Heyman? Is he actually the original Paul Heyman guy?
Yeah, yes, he is. I knew you were going to ask a phenomenal question, Mike. When you shoot, you do not miss. During the production meeting, we said that we would try to give expedited yet thoughtful answers. So I will try my best here. Mike, it's a great one. As you pointed out, based on the way you framed that question, I think you and I might agree. I think Austin's career would look a lot different. Would he still have gotten over and become the megastar he is? Yeah, I fully believe that. But to your point, being under the learning tree of Paul Heyman, I feel like Austin has even said this, right, in interviews and other places, that he learned a ton from Heyman and really kind of leaned in to character-based work, which the three of us know is so important in wrestling. You can have all the goods in the ring, but those special megastar talents are the ones who can connect with an audience, which we know Stone Cold absolutely did. So for me, Heyman played a pivotal role in his career. And without Heyman, Austin would still be a star, but it would be hard to believe that he would have reached the heights that he did here.
I completely agree with you. I think of Stunning Steve coming out to the Dangerous Alliance with Paul E. Dangerously and Rick Rude and Bobby Eaton and excuse me. And wearing a big, bright, sparkly red robe with long, flowing blonde hair is absolutely something that I purged from my memory. I don't even associate that person with Stone Cold Steve Austin because they're so unbelievably different. But you know, watching Broken Skull sessions or other interviews where Stone Cold talks about Paul, he never says Paul. He never says Heyman. He says Paulie. He always says Paulie. So the influence that man had on Stone Cold's career, despite Paul changing in ECW, despite him being somebody different in the AWA, the CWA, Memphis, in WCW,
The
in all these
ringmaster, right?
territories. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any question that Stone Cold learned how to do his promos and learn how to get heat more effectively or more efficiently from Paul Heyman, and also getting that rub by putting him in the ring with stars that were really established, that people could get on board to hating, and really giving him a spotlight, because Paul sees talent and knows what to do with that talent by maximizing their strengths. So I have no doubt in my mind that Stone Cold would have been a star. I don't think he would have been Stone Cold Steve Austin, the transcendent megastar that he became without Paul Heyman.
I of course I agree with both of y'all because Paul E added the color that Stunning Steve was missing. Because he was even say in his interviews back then that it was such a mismatch. Like he's Stunning Steve with his long blonde locks, but he had this Southern accent, but he was billed from Hollywood, California. Like nothing matched. But then when he had that little bit of time in ECW, that was the actual genesis of the Stone Cold character without, all the glitz and glamour that WWF would actually put on, which it's actually an oxymoron because he was playing black drunk, black boots, bald head, what have you. But yeah, I believe
The ringmaster.
yes. Paul E. Without Paul E. Stunning Steve, yeah, he would have been a decent star, but with Paul E. and just giving the vibrant color to his character and allowing him to actually believe that character took Steve Austin to heights that haven't been seen since. So yeah.
It's a great way to kick off this very special episode, Mike. Thank you for that. I have the next question. Here we go. What is Heyman's best attribute as a character? More specifically, what did he display during this AWA WCW era that stood out to you both most?
Mike, you want to kick us off?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll say I'll answer it like this, and I don't know if this is actually gonna be an answer to the question, but when I first saw Paul E. Dangerously or Paul Dangerly in AWA, his mannerisms reminded me of Roddy Piper. The high pitched voice, which goes like the guy that seemed like he was on speed and he was just talking, the very manic energy, and that's what captivated me to him. And with whatever charge he had, the focus, especially at the beginning, the focus was to me was always on Paul. It really wasn't on the talent. He had the original Midnight Express in the AWA with Randy Rhodes and Dennis Condrey. Yeah, it was all right, but he added that extra, for lack of a better term, that extra color to him. He got to WCW. He had Rick Rude, Medusa, Stunning Steve, Bobby Eaton, the whole nine. Larry Zbyszko.
Of course.
Yeah.
Did we sprinkle in Mean Mark Calloway there as well?
Yeah, he was managing Mean Mark. Yep.
Later to be christened as the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in his early incarnation, it was mostly Paul was the one that actually just captivated the audience and allowed everybody to grab onto his coattails. So that's really what I would think of at the very beginning of the earliest part of his career. So yeah, like I said, it probably wasn't the answer to the question, but that's how I took it.
I think his character stood out to me because he was just this slimy, weaselly, litigious person. He was always talking about the lawyers, and he had his giant brick ass cell phone, and he had all of these things where it's like, I will sue you or I will get people involved. There was they had the what was his name? I can't remember his name. His Fred Savage's brothers from the Wonder Years. He beat him up in the ring, hit him with the cell phone from behind. Misty Hyatt. Yes, there you go. Misty Hyatt was involved in some of the angles. Like he was just surrounded by these talents that he elevated. But what I remember about him most is he felt like the coked up guy that was in Die Hard, like the weaselly coked guy. He was just like there to make a deal, and he'll sacrifice any kind of morality to get that deal, to get ahead. And that's exactly what I think of when I think of Paul E. Dangerously, or Paul Dangerously, who got his face wrecked by Jerry Lawler on his way out of being fired, where Jerry punched him and broke his jaw. So there's lots and lots of stories that came out of that. But I think of Paul just being this sort of slimy, weaselly guy that I love to hate.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, just great points all around. What stood out to me, I think a commonality in your answers was that Paul enhanced the talent he was working with.
Yeah.
Right, there was presence involved, there was star power, there was, again, character work. Yeah, you guys said it. Heyman's one of the best. I know we'll get to that conversation later on, but Heyman is, yeah, man, he's one of one.
So I have a bit of a setup here, and it's a little bit repetitious, so bear with me. Paul E. used to use the cell phone as a prop all of the film Wall Street, and he often referred to his lawyers and his business connections. During this period, Jerry Lawler broke his jaw before Paul was fired from Memphis, and he was fired from WCW over disagreements with Bill Watts. He got heat from interviews by publicly scorching them before getting clearance with them. If Paul played his pre-WCW, or excuse me, ECW role a little bit more subdued and withheld some of those opinions and just held back a little bit, where do you think he might be?
Wow, Mike, you starting this one or am I?
I'll let you go. I gotta
No
marinate
pressure.
on that for a minute.
Yeah, I got to marinate on that too, but I'm going to keep talking. Where would he be without that, man? I mean, to me, this kind of reminds me of Mike's question, Brad, in that Heyman's sheer willpower and desire probably would have got him to a place he wanted to get to in the business. But this is what Paul Heyman is most known for: his passion, his, one would argue, lack of a filter at times, right? When he has a vision, when he thinks he is right, damn it, he's gonna let you know, and he's not backing down. For me, it's similar to Stone Cold, and I'm sure he still would have been in a prominent role in wrestling, but this just totally fits what we would know as Paul Heyman today. It fits his personality type. He is fearless, he is passionate, and he's going to let you know what is on his mind, which I think a lot of us as wrestling fans probably love and admire about him most.
Without that inner drive, without that stubbornness, without that annoying gnat type tendency that he has, I don't think he would have reached this height. I don't think he would be close to 40 years in the game that he ended up being. He wouldn't have this legacy, because just for the fact that we're doing this series of different eras that span almost 40 years, 35 years at least, is it's really due to his I don't even know how to describe it, but pretty much, like I said, his stubbornness, so without that drive, I think he would have probably been off the map 20 years ago. When ECW folded, that would have been it. Matter of fact, would we even have an ECW if it wouldn't have been for the fact of, okay, I pushed Vern in this direction. I pushed Bill Watts in this direction. I pretty much got blackballed and had to figure out how I was going to stay in this industry. Because remember, when he first started, he used to go in the backstage and manipulate his way into the locker room with the Grand Wizard and so forth in WWF.
Yeah.
And that's how he got his in. So without that inner strength, he wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be talking about him right now.
Yeah, I agree completely with that. I think that his strengths are that he doesn't adhere to authority or doesn't settle for a status quo, that he does push those boundaries, sometimes to his own detriment. But I don't think ECW is a thing if he was more subdued, if he did hold back. I simply don't think. I think he'd still be sending in photographs for Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and maybe having a backstage role as a producer, but he would not be Paul Heyman. He would not be the wise man. We would not be doing this today if it weren't for just how he is in general. So I'm happy for it, and I can't wait to talk about ECW, Tyler.
Yeah, this was so fun, guys. We hope you all enjoyed this. This is our gift to you. We know it's the holiday season. Happy holidays to those who celebrate. We are so thankful for your continued support of us. And again, we hope you enjoyed this first installment. With that being said, quick plug: your guys have been nominated for a really exciting, prestigious award. Super quick flex. GI, that's right. Our very own Gimmick Infringement has been nominated for the 2024 Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. This is from the Sports Podcast Awards. You can find them at sportspodcastgroup.com. Of course, it's all over our social. So in case you haven't followed us, we're all over X and Instagram and Facebook. Search Gimmick Infringement and we are there. You can now vote for us. We are nominated amongst the likes of people like Kurt Angle and Conan. So, Brad, I don't know if this is a sign that we need to enroll in Booker T's school and maybe start taking bumps. Maybe we fly Mike out there as well. I know he has to travel a little bit further to get to Texas, but maybe this is a sign. I don't know. Maybe this is a sign that we just continue doing what we're doing and try to continue putting out good content. So please consider voting for us. We would love to have your support in that regard. And then finally, this is it for us. For Brad and Mike, we want to thank you for checking out the first installment of our Three Wisemen series. We hope you'll join us for the next installment dropping tomorrow, in which, as Brad alluded to, we will discuss Paul Heyman in ECW. I can't wait for that. I hope you'll tune in. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.